So as we said earlier, it's very important to understand all the attributes of the NMAP before continuing with this course. There is a tool called ZENMAP which has all the presets of what we're going to study in this video, but I advise you to go through this video in order to understand the details of each of these attributes. First of all, if you want to have an NMAP target selection, the default command is nmap, then you put the IP address. So I'll put the IP address of my local machine, and then you press enter. Let's do this example here. Here is the result. It finished in 6.34 seconds, and these are the ports open. If you want to scan a host name, you can do nmap www.abcd.com, and it will give you the same results as shown previously. If you want to scan a range of IP addresses, you go nmap, you type in the IP address and dash the range, and then you press enter. It will scan all the IPs within this range. If you want to scan a subnet, you scan it this way. If you have a determined list of IP addresses, like I did here, put them in a text file. This is the text file here. So this is the format of your text file. You put all the IPs in there, and then you issue this command nmap -il uppercase, then the name of the file, and then you press enter. It will scan all the IPs in this file. Going forward, we will see how to select ports or range of ports in order to scan. If you want to scan a certain port, this is the command you need to issue -p attribute, and after that the name of the port or name of certain ports in a comma listed fashion. And then you put the IP on the target machine, then you press enter. Here we see that the SSH port on the target machine is open. If you want to scan a range of ports, so you use the same command. For example, scan port 1 to 100 on this target machine. It will go through all of these ports, and here we go, we got the same result. If you want to do a fast scan, you use the attribute F, which scans the most common used ports. The default, it's good to mention that the default nmap command scans 1000 ports, and this can take some time. So if you want to scan the most common port numbers, you use the -f attribute. And here you can see that we have the SSH port open in addition to the NetBIOS port. These SMB ports are open. If you want to do an extensive scan for all the ports, issue this command -p and then the IP address. -p and then minus and then the IP address. It will take a huge amount of time because it's scanning almost all the 65,000 ports, and a similar intense IP scan as well can be used using this command. Like, you name all the ports here 1 till 65555, and then you issue these attributes -t4, -a, -v. What are these attributes? As I said, the -p is the port numbers from 1 till 65535. The -t4 template is the timing template. Actually, this is an attribute that can go from T0 till T5. T0 being the slowest type of scan, and T5 being the fastest type of scan. Here we are controlling how is the response of NMAP and how fast it is in the scan. So actually this is a timing template, and it gives the user an easy way to tune how fast NMAP performs. As we said earlier in the video previously, that goes from 0 to 5, 0 being paranoid, 1 being sneaky, 0 being paranoid, 1 being sneaky, 2 being polite, 3 is the normal, 4 aggressive, and 5 insane, which is right. The -a attribute, actually, it's an option that lets NMAP make an effort in identifying the target OS, the services, and the versions. It also does a traceroute and as well applies some NSE, which is engine scripts, in order to detect additional information. This is a huge scan, and it's actually quite noisy as it applies to many different scans. If you want to select the type of the scan, you issue these commands nmap -st and then the IP address of the target machine. As we said earlier, we have two types of scans: the send scan, which is the default one, and the connect scan. If you want to force NMAP to use the connect scan, you issue the attribute -st. So here it initiates a three-way handshake, like you send the ACK and wait for the target machine to reply back with a SYN-ACK, and then the NMAP machine will send RST packet in order to complete the three-way handshake. If you want to use the default type of scan, use -ss attribute. If you want to scan UDP port, you use the attribute -SU, and then you need to specify the port types or the port numbers that you are scanning. Let us say here 123, then 161, then 162. These ports are the SNMP and the SNMP trap, as well as the NTP. Let's see how it goes here. So as we said earlier, UDP scan is different than the XP scan because it doesn't include a three-way handshake. So as you see here, the NMAP replied with the results for the ports. Actually, 3 of these ports are closed. To have more information, many more examples can be given, like NMAP -A, then the IP address. This scan, as we said earlier, the -A attribute will do its best to determine the OS type and the services running, and it will use the NSE scripts in addition to doing the trace route. Another example is having a light banner grabbing detection by using this command SV and then version intensity. Here we're controlling the intensity of the scan. Say 0, and this is the target IP here. The -SV attribute determine actually the services running on the target machine. It actually probes the open ports to determine what services and version they are running on the service. Running the scan against a target. So as you see, these are the results of the -SV attribute. It shows that the SSH port is open. It as well lists the version of the SSH that is running on the target machine. If you want to do an intense scan with no ping, so NMAP can consider the target port up and running, we use this command. -t for the template, which is fast, A attribute, and then the N attribute. This is the attribute that considers the target machine up and running, and the V attribute, which is the verbose or show verbose attribute, which gives us the status of the scan, of what's going on, and then the target IP address. Let's see. So as you can see, it's giving us a real-time update of the scan. And here you go. It's actually a good scan. It loaded some NSE scripts, and here are the results. The SSH port is open and the SMB ports are open. It also gives us the TCP IP fingerprint, which is a combination of passive data that defines the TCP IP stack on the target machine. We're one hop away, and this is the SMB information revealed. Actually, it's a pretty much useful information. If you want to do a ping or sweep scan, use the -SN attribute. Pretty fast. Now, if you want to output the result of a certain scan to a text file, you use the -OG attribute, and this is test output file with txt, and then the target IP. Here it should create now text file named test output. Let's see, and that's it. And here you go. This is the result of the scan. Now let's talk about the NSE, which is the NMAP scripting engine. NMAP comes with presets of scripts that you can find under USR. These are all the scripts that come with. Actually, you can invoke them while running for example, we can check for SMB vulnerabilities using this command, nmap show repository, select the SMB ports, and use this attribute script to reference any script. So I'll use the SMB OS discovery and the target IP, and here we go. This is the result of the scan and all the information related to the SMB. It is good actually to talk a bit about the NMAP scripting engine, actually because it's one of the NMAP's most powerful and flexible features. It's not only to scan ports, no. It can be used to discover the network, to have sophisticated version detection, in addition to vulnerability detection, backdoor detection, as well as vulnerability exploitation. So users can actually rely on the growing and diverse set of scripts that are distributed within NMAP, or you can write your own script to meet any custom needs. NSE scripting is beyond the scope of this course, but it was very beneficial to give an overview on the powerful tool and the capabilities of NMAP.